Hey everybody, welcome back to Mrs. Woody Witch channel. Thank you for watching and joining me again today. Today I'm going to be talking about some other fears that I have in relation to having a little nugget. And well, it's kind of a two-parter. One part is, how are our social lives going to change? You know, I obviously expect some change, but you know, are we going to be able to go out to dinner with our friends? Are we going to be able to, like, you know, hang out with folks and have our baby with us if need be? Are we always going to have to find a babysitter and that sort of thing? I have a friend who, her and her husband, they always bring their baby with them. It works out great. We go out to dinners, you know, and everything is fine. So, but I've also seen other instances where babies are not okay and they have tantrums and they just kind of ruin it for their parents and just everybody. Or just the other night we went out to dinner and these kids were buck wild at the dinner table. Now mind you, it was like 4 little boys, so, but you know, that's just something, like, you know, me and my husband are very social. We like to go out, we, you know, my husband doesn't drink, but you know, sometimes like I'd like to have a little cocktail, a little wine with my friends, you know, and I don't know if I'm always going to want to burden somebody with babysitting our child, our baby. So, you know, I would like to be able to say, oh yeah, let's go, and like pick up and take the baby with us. Now I do know that that's not always going to be feasible or possible, you know, because sometimes if we want to go out to a club to celebrate a friend's birthday, that's obviously not gonna work, very inappropriate. But I'm just talking about like dinners with friends, you know, and that kind of thing. In my group of friends, I'm not the first, but one of the first to get married and, you know, possibly have a baby. So I'm kind of like the odd man out with that. So, you know, I also don't want to like burden my friends by always, like, you know, toting my baby along, you know, that sort of thing. So, and I know it's not like a parenting issue because I've seen plenty of great parents with kids who are like freaking out and having tantrums. So I really feel like it's more of like a baby personality thing. So I'm just worried, like, what if my kid is like the little like jerk of a baby and, you know, like doesn't want to be social and like hang out and, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be like a little like hermit in the house because my kid freaks out every time, you know, we're talking, or, you know what I mean? So another anxiety about having a baby is traveling. I love to travel, and you know, I know it can be quite different or difficult with a baby. I've seen people do it, and you know, trucking them into, you know, on the plane. They got strollers and car seats and things. I've seen it done. I've been on plenty of planes with babies who are totally fine, and then I've been on them with, you know, the baby who's like losing it because, you know, their little ears are popping and it's just like, you know, they can't do anything. So, you know, I've seen people do it well, and I've seen people like it just not work. So I love to travel, so I would really hate, you know, to have to, you know, again, burden somebody with, you know, watching our child for a few days on end and, you know, that kind of thing. So if you've had a child and you've dealt with this at all, please put the comments below, and hopefully, you know, this won't be the end of my traveling career or my social life, because yeah, that would be horrible. So let me know if there's anything you can do or what it depends on. I feel like it's depending on the personality of the child, you know, but, you know, is there anything I can do to make my child more prone to, you know, behave in public and enjoy themselves? I don't want them to be like, you know, sitting with their hands folded and not interacting at all. If you have any advice or tips, put it down below, because it's something I am worried about. I mean, of course, it's not going to keep me from not having a baby, but it is something I'm a little concerned about. I'm not going to lie. So yeah, so for the health insurance tip of the day, I'm going to talk to you today about HIPAA, which stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, otherwise known as HIPAA laws. HIPAA is designed to basically, in a nutshell, protect people's personal health information from being exposed to other agencies, people, anybody you don't want to have your health information, because it's private, it's personal. So, the magic number with HIPAA a lot of times when it comes to health insurance is 18. That is the age where your personal health information is not able to be leaked to anyone, including your parents or your spouse, without your permission. So say you have a child who's inpatient for whatever reason, they're 18, and you want to know, why a service was denied, how, how many days they're going to have in the facility. You can't get that information without your child's permission or a form or like a release of information type of form. So basically, you can have this for the facility. Just because you have it for the facility does not have anything to do with the insurance company. Make sure you have one on file with the insurance company. I always recommend this, especially to married couples, because this is the most common place it would happen. Just put it on file before you even need it, because when you do need it, it's gonna, it's not gonna take, it's not gonna go into motion as soon as you sign the paper. It has to be processed, put on file, and check to make sure everything's on the up and up, or filled out correctly. So say your husband or your wife is inpatient right now and you need to know something right now. It's not going to happen without their verbal permission. So put that on file. That way you won't have any hiccups. Any person that you talk to at the health insurance company can see that you have permission to get this person's personal health information. And also this can work on the reverse end. For an example, I have talked to people who are going through like really bad divorces, or they don't want a certain person to know certain things. You can put certain blocks in place so no one has access to your information, or this one person doesn't. You can do this by there are certain forms that may vary from company to company, but you can put like vetting questions, for example. So whenever you call in, you have to know the last 4 digits of your credit card, the last 4 digits of your social, or you can just give some random code like your alarm code, a private code that only you know, no one else. And that's a good way to keep anyone from, prying and getting into your information. Because if I see that, boop, can't talk to you at all, sorry, denied. There's also other things you can do. You can put privacy addresses on, so certain information can be sent to another P.O. box or secret location, I don't know, whatever you want to do. But, so there are ways to really block your information, and there's ways to get access to other information that you may need to take care of a loved one. It doesn't matter. Even if it's your child, they're still in high school and you're handling their health stuff, they're the age of 18, you can't get any detailed information. It can be a real pain in the butt. So that is my tip of the day. If you're taking care of someone else, or even if you're not, and if something were to happen, you would be the caretaker, get those forms put on file so you have access to anybody's information you need so you can help continue care. Okay. Oh, and P.S. the Ravens won the Super Bowl, just in case you've been under a rock. Yeah, go Ravens. Black and purple, black and purple. Okay, check you guys later. Bye.